welcome back to part 2, where Rena's going to take us through our paces.
Hi, my name is Rena Dimes. I am a professional contortionist and aerialist.
If you haven't already watched part 1, I recommend you go check it out right now. Go on, click on the link. And if you have, let's dive in, starting with some back flexibility and finishing off with everything you need to know about doing the perfect bridge. And as I said in part 1, don't forget to check out the amazing team at Cirqueus, providing you with a large selection of online videos, teaching you all the circus skills.
You can find us on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram at The Cirqueus, and then you can find us at our website, which is www.thecircus.com. Let's get into a little bit of shoulder stuff. So we'll do one wall exercise for your shoulders, and then we'll do some free floor stuff. And then we'll start to get a little bit more into your back. So to start, we're gonna do a basic bleeding heart or a cat against the wall stretch. There's a lot of cool variations that you can do in this. So we're gonna start with the basic one. You can do this either kneeling or standing. It's really up to you and what you feel comfortable with. Generally start like a foot away. You can kind of play with this. You're gonna go ahead and lean your arms against the thing. You're gonna take a nice deep inhale, and then when you exhale, you're gonna start to bring the chest closer to the wall. Try and keep your elbows nice and straight here. So you'll notice that it's really easy. You can go really deep in your bend if you let your arms cheat like this, like if they kind of move out. You always wanna be strong and engaged with your arms. So even if it means that you don't go as deep in your stretch, it's more valuable for your upper back and your shoulders to stay higher and maintain good form than to cheat it and let it kind of fly out, because also it protects your shoulder. Okay, so you inhale, and then when you exhale, you're gonna melt your chest into the wall here, and you go ahead and look up. So you wanna look for your hands. So we'll just hold here for 7 breaths or so.
I feel like I'm in the wrong place.
No, the distance is fine. Flip your palms to face in towards each other. Good, and then really look up.
Oh, this is where I'm really not flexible at all.
Yes, here we go. So when you exhale, you want to imagine that your chest is melting down and into the wall a little bit. So we'll do 5 breaths here.
Holy moly.
Do you feel it?
Yeah.
Good. When you're done with your 5, go ahead and come out of that.
Okay.
Cool. So we're gonna tack on to that. Let's do 2 variations, and perhaps one will be more successful than the other, and that's also fine. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna start back in that same position. And basically, once you're in your cat position, you want to maintain the pressure of your arms and your upper body against the wall, but we're gonna play with a pelvic hip tilt. And basically what that's gonna do is that when you tilt your hips in the position, it's going to shift where the bend is in your back. So when you anteriorly tilt or you arch your back, it's gonna shift the weight closer to the lower back. But when you tuck and you fight it and you go for that posterior tilt, it's gonna start to shift it higher and higher up your spine. So again, even if it's one of those things where it doesn't look like anything, it should still feel like something. I'm gonna start in kind of a neutral position. I'm gonna start by really aggressively arching my back. So you'll see my tailbone really fly to the sky here. So I'm really bending into my lower back. And then from here, I'm gonna keep my upper body where it is. I'm gonna really tuck, pull it in, flatten out my lower back, and then start to really get into my shoulders. So it's like a huge ab engagement. And then we're gonna relax again, we're gonna arch, and then we're going to pull it in, we're gonna tuck and round and really push, fight, and then come back to neutral. So let's give it a shot and see what happens.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What about my elbows? Do I have to keep my hands parallel to my...
Yes. Hands should be parallel. They can also be a little wider than shoulder width. That's also fine, depending on your shoulder flexibility. So let's start with an arch back. So we're gonna go ahead with the anterior tilt. So you're gonna really stick your butt out here, and you should feel this start to become a lower back bend. And then you're going to reverse. So you're going to pull the abs in, you're gonna tuck, you're gonna push against the wall, and you're gonna really feel it in your shoulders. And then you'll go back into your lower back bend. Yeah. And then one more time, pull it all in, pull the ribs in, really scoop, really hollow out your belly. Good. Good. And then come back to neutral. Good. And then gently peel out.
That one exercise has just solved some of my mental problems. I feel like that was therapy, but in my body.
That's the greatest testimonial to my coaching I've ever heard.
Oh my god. Insane. Oh my god.
Yeah, let's do one more wall thing, because I think the wall stuff is really nice, and then we'll move into some floor stuff.
Amazing.
It's interesting because I think in flexibility, people hold tension in different parts of their body in really incredible ways. One of my good colleagues used to hold all of their tension in their hips. So when we would do center splits, they would get really emotional like really, really emotional.
I want to cry right now, Rena, honestly. Like after that, I was like, what you do to me. Is it normal to feel a bit nauseous?
Okay, so my go-to with this is that during your flexibility practice, especially if you're new to it, it is common to feel like a little bit of dizziness, maybe a little bit of nauseousness. Generally, if it doesn't go away after about 10 minutes, stop. If you start to see stars, definitely stop. And it's like, if it goes away after 10 minutes, I'd recommend going back to your practice. And if it doesn't, then you're just done. That's kind of my go-to. And that includes nauseousness, stars, pain, like sharp pain, anything abnormal, because your body telling you that this is no longer good. And some of it you can work through, because especially like when you get into your upper back and shoulder flex, if you're really stiff, that's just like a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
But say if you're back bending and you get a bad pinch, like that means like don't do it.
Safety.
Safety. Okay, so let's do one more wall stretch. We're gonna go back into a variation of your cat stretch, but we're gonna do a basic arm positioning. So instead of having arms up like this, we're going to actually go for prayer arms, and we're gonna do this. You're gonna start facing your wall, and instead of going from a cat and then bending the arms, just starting by placing the arms as is.
Okay.
So what I like to do is I like to place my elbows kind of where I think they need to go, and then walk myself down and back. And what you want to think about in this position, your head can either be forward or back for now. But what I want you to think about is about pressing your armpits to the wall here. And this should get really deep into your upper back. So I would be very cautious with this. But as you exhale, you want to open up the armpits more and more and more to the wall. You can think about incorporating your lower back if you want. You don't have to. Yeah, like that. And then as you exhale, you want to imagine that your armpit kind of like opens up. Good, and we'll do 5 breaths here, again on your own time. Good, so, yeah, Sophie, there it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Good. There's so many ways you can spice this up too, but that's like the basis of it.
When you have a prop or a thing, like makes it really exciting.
I think part of it is because of the props. Like even when I'm doing handstand push-up drills, I'm like, the next level is when you remove one of the blocks, or like moving from chair to block. There's like lots of stuff you can do.
Or your one-handed handstand is looking so, like I can say, you're like going on the side, it's so good. I remember when you were first trying it out.
My hope is that by the end of 2020, I will leave with a one-arm handstand of some form. Like I don't even care what shape it is anymore. I'm just like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be great.
It will, you will, it'll be awesome.
Newest to oldest, I was working with AIDA Cruises as an aerialist and contortionist, and I've done that for the last couple of years. In addition to that, I've also worked with Cirqueus, so like Check the Swag. We do completely independently created contemporary circus shows. Before that, I was primarily a freelance artist, so I would do independent gigs for like strolling contortionists, strolling handstands. And then way back when, I used to work with a company called AWOL Dance Collective, which is an aerial dance company based in Portland, Oregon. One is always film yourself so you know exactly what you're doing. And then the other thing is that when you go into your training, have a goal. It's almost like a yoga practice. You know how in a yoga you'll build towards one skill? I like to think of contortion training kind of like that in the same way, because a lot of the movements are similar or they're based around the same concept, but they're just in different orientations. Going to do one quick shoulder opener from a down dog, and I actually really like this series because I find it kind of productive. It can be a core thing, it can be a hamstring thing, it can be a wrist thing, and it can be your shoulders. We're going to start in a down dog, and we're going to kind of shift between a down dog and a plank with the goal of opening up through the shoulder. And then when you go forward into the plank, you can think of it as a wrist thing. So I'm going to start in a down dog. If you need to take a moment to pedal out your heels, whatever feels good. And then from here, start by finding kind of like a nice open shoulder position. So when you press back into your down dog, you're pressing through your shoulders. Your heels are grounded into the floor. Your shoulders are opening, your head can drop, and thinking about pressing the chest through the shoulders towards the thighs. So this is kind of like position A or position 1. From here, what the motion is that you're going to almost go into like a very tall tabletop. So you're gonna rock the shoulders over the wrists. This is where the wrists come in. And then you're gonna press back into your open shoulder position. So you're gonna go through this 3 to 5 times, depending on where you are in the day. And each time you press back, you want to get a little bit deeper into this shoulder flexibility. You can start head through. You can also look head forward if you want. It's really your choice. So you'll do 3 to 5 here. After your 3 to 5, you will wiggle your hands forward just a few inches, and we'll do the same thing. So you're gonna press back, and the goal is to get a little bit deeper in your down dog, and then rock a little further forward, so it starts to become more of a plank. And then again, pushing all the way back and forward. So that'll be 3 to 5 times. And then finally, after 3 to 5, you'll go all the way into a long down dog, with the goal of getting really, really deep. So you want to imagine armpits to the ground here, and then coming forward into basically a full plank. So 3 to 5 at each level, and then after that, you drop the knees down to the ground into your cat stretch.
Yeah, baby.
Drop your knees down, go back into a cat stretch. So butt up to the sky, drop the chest down.
There's the cat. Yeah. Move, cow.
Yeah, I love that one as like a progression to get into your shoulders, just to open things up a little bit. I love also the way that it can incorporate your wrists, especially like if you're going into back bending. For some people who have like less flexible or weaker wrists, it's a good way to start to warm that up without doing all the traditional flick the wrist, do the thing. Like I try to find ways to be efficient in the training. I want to go over a cobra, so like a belly on the floor, and then I do want to get into kind of like the mechanics of a bridge. We're gonna start with a basic prone, and I like to actually start at a midpoint, at a sphinx, and I will show you what that looks like. What I've noticed is that when people are going through a basic prone or a seal or whatever they call it in yoga, they tend to kind of like skip from here to here. Like for me, flexibility is the thing that there's nothing passive. Like everything needs to be intentional and thought out. So you're gonna start on your belly, and we're gonna start, instead of hands under the shoulders, we're gonna start propped up onto our forearms. Feet can be a little wider than your hips. It's kind of up to you. You're gonna start by looking forward here. So you're gonna start with basically like a very gentle arch in the low back. You're gonna take a nice deep inhale, and then when you exhale, you're gonna tip the head back as if you're leading with your third eye. You're gonna tip back, and you wanna find your maximum extension back here. Then you're gonna go back. So we're gonna do 5 of those. You want to think about finding the longest amount of length across your entire front of your throat. So finding a long line from your chin all the way down your throat, down to basically your collarbone. And then the squeeze in the back of the neck is the muscle that contracts to make that length happen.
Oh my god, I didn't know the front of my chin was tight.
From here, we're gonna actually press all the way up into our prone, but I want us to stop at that moment first. That way you can't cheat it. Starting here, you're going to roll up. So you start by leading with that third eye. You're going to come up to your forearms. You're gonna hold for a minute. You're gonna find that beautiful long line. You're squeezing the back of the neck. You're looking up, feel the length across the front of the throat, and then you push up with the arms, and then you begin to walk yourself up to a full prone here. Once you're at your top, you're gonna hold for a breath or two, and then you're gonna gently and with control walk yourself back down. Really trying to roll down the entire vertebrae of the spine as you go until you come back down to flat. So we'll just do 3 of those. It's a flexibility and like a pathway that takes time, but like just being aware of the spiral and the curl that you can generate within your own body so that you don't cheat yourself. The cobra in yoga serves a different purpose than the cobra that we would do for this.
Oh, okay.
Because what I like to think about is like, wait, like in my mind, like the cobra that you do in yoga is meant either as a recovery or it's meant as like a gentle stretch. The purpose of the cobra here is to prepare your back to do a bajillion other things, theoretically.
Amazing.
So you want to like lay a good foundation. So that way when I go into a more advanced skill, I don't have any problems. That's what I think about.
Safety.
Safety. Safety.
Safety.
My favorite thing to work on right now is contortion push-ups. Basically, if you're in a handstand, go into your position, you kick your legs over so you're in a scorpion handstand, and then in the handstand, you go down and then you push back up. You can do them either toes free or legs straight, or in a snapdragon, which is the toes tucked behind the armpits.
Whoa.
You watch other people do and you're just like, that's wizardry. It's so cool and it's so hard. Let's get into some bridges. So generally, depending on where you are in a bridge, assuming you are pushing up from the ground, I like to always think of back flexibility, not so much as like, what is your back doing, but what is the rest of your body doing? Because I think sometimes it's very daunting to like think about my back must bend. Like that feels really scary sometimes. But what should be happening is that when you push up, your hands should be at your ears. Your elbows should be in. You don't want to have your elbows fly out to the sides so that when you push, you have a straight path to push. Feet should be in close to your bum, either hip width apart or a little bit wider, and like slightly turned out is fine. When you push, you want to straighten your elbows as much as you can. Once you get there, you want to begin to rock the weight a little bit more forward into your hands to begin to even out your bridge. That way it's not backloading into your legs, which can cause the weight to load into your lower back. So when you shift the weight more into your hands, you're evenly distributing the bend weight-wise across all 4 points of contact, but also you're taking it out of your lower back and evenly distributing the bend across all parts of your spine. 2 more things is that, and something a lot of people don't think about, is that when you're in your bridge, you want to squeeze your bum as hard as you can, and that's also going to gird your lower back. At the same time, you want to really gently engage these abs right here. So not your rectus abdominis, but like your lower abs and your pelvic floor, because by squeezing your butt and pulling these abs in, you're going to protect your lower back to the maximal extent.
Okay.
Infinite things to think about.
Parallel. Oh my gosh, I haven't done one of these in so long. Okay, so.
Good.
Okay, right, I didn't really know how strong my arms are gonna be.
That's fine. Good. There it is, Sophie. Good. Make sure you squeeze your bum. Think hips tall. There it is.
Oh, I tried to come down gently.
How does that feel?
Initially thinking I do not have the arm strength to lift my body off the ground. It's fine once it's there, yeah. It's just the initial like mind block of being like, is this really gonna happen?
People who are watching maybe don't, like, they can get the push, but it's like that first initial push is really hard. What you can do is you can kind of like tip your head back and use your head as like a little tripod. Yeah, so it's like you begin to push, tip your head back, use your head as a tripod, and then use that to help you get up. And that can help sometimes if you're very, very close. If you have never, ever done a bridge before in one's life, but a lot of it is learning how to first power through your legs and then power through your arms. And then you have to put 1 and 1 together to make 2.
Marriage.
Find that push and find the strength and go in for a hold. Generally, like a good endurance hold amount is like 30 seconds. But like even like a count of 10, doing the mental checklist. I'm like, am I squeezing my butt? Are my abs in? Am I straightening my elbows? Where am I looking? What are my feet doing? Bridge, we're gonna go into a rainbow bridge, which is a long bridge, and then we're gonna walk it into a tight bridge, with the goal of being to kind of like mobilize different parts of your back. So the idea that when you press up into your normal bridge, it's kind of even. When you rock into your rainbow bridge, it gets into your upper back and your shoulders. And then when you walk it back into a close bridge, it starts to get into your lower back. And that's when it's really important to squeeze your butt and your abs, because no one wants a back injury.
This is where my butt actually can come in useful.
You're gonna press up. So you're gonna press. From here, you're gonna keep your body, you can actually bring your legs a little further away than usual if you need to. You're gonna inhale. And then when you exhale, you're gonna push straight through your legs. You're gonna push your chest forward. Squeeze your butt really hard. And this is your rainbow. So even if it's here, that's okay. But the idea is that you wanna take it from here, just a little bit further here. You can straighten your leg, that's fine. But the idea is to go into this like longer position where the chest is leading and your sternum is what's really driving the weight forward. So you'll hold here for 3 breaths. And then from here, you're going to walk your feet into your hands. You're gonna get as close as you can. And then you're gonna push your hips up to the sky. And you wanna imagine that it's straighten your knees, but it's not gonna happen. You're gonna try and really push the hips up, squeeze the butt to thrust the hips forward. Hold for 3 to 5, and then slowly readjust, and then slowly come down.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing, Rena. Expectation versus reality. I've just gotta get my brain in gear. Use you as a tripod, hello.
Good, there it is. Fabulous, good Soph. You're gonna keep your body where it is. You're gonna push through your feet as if you're gonna bring your chest forward.
Oh, I'm getting cramp in my leg. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
How embarrassing. Oh my gosh, my dad once got cramp and it was so funny. It was really bad because he was sat on the sofa and then just suddenly went, and then like slid off the sofa in plank position as he was just like sliding down like this. We were laughing, he was getting angry, and obviously the angrier he got, the more funny it was for us.
Good. So from here, use your feet. Push away from the ground. Imagine you're pushing your legs straight, chest forward. Good. After 3 breaths, you're going to walk your feet in as close to your hands as you can.
I can't.
That's super fine. Then what you're gonna do here is you're gonna stay here. You're going to imagine that you have a string coming from your hips and your hips go up. So push the hips up as much as you can. Squeeze your butt. Yes!
That's tricky. That is hard. The string thing helped. That was hard to stay there mentally because I think my brain just wanted to give up and be like, Sophie, you're done. Get down now, what are you doing?
If you want to keep the string metaphor, something that's really helpful is that for that rainbow bridge, for that long bridge, imagine that string is coming out of your heart center.
I think that was probably the best bridge I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I honestly feel like that back stretch makes me want to cry. And as I felt my back go deep into the stretch, like I don't think I've felt a stretch so deeply inside my body than I have in a really long time. I hold a lot of tension and a lot of emotions in my back and in my shoulders. So to feel that kind of open up is a really cathartic experience, and honestly, everyone will benefit. I've never thought about my body or stretching in that specific way before, so it was really, really eye-opening. Also, Rena is an amazing teacher. I've honestly never felt confident within myself to stretch properly. I've always thought, oh, I'll just do a bit here after the workout, or, you know, I've never genuinely found it fun, honestly, but I've had a really fun time. My back is like, just feels so nice. I feel so emotional. Allocating 10 minutes of your day just to do one of these exercises against a wall, so there's no crazy equipment required. I was using my door, just makes a huge difference to how you feel. Go and check out this Patreon because honestly, sounds sick. And I'm so excited to share this with everyone because I think especially in these times of COVID and crazy time for the arts industry more specifically, it's just so important right now to support our fellow artists and friends. So right now, I would like you to go on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever and go and support a friend's business venture. I'm so amazed that COVID and all of this isolation has made artists not retrain, but just use their talents in different ways, in different areas. And that's my spiel done.
Anyway, thank you so much. I love you.
All right, I'll see you later, girl.
Bye, my darling. Bye-bye.
Thank you.